Well, following a blowout defeat to the OKC Thunder, the Lakers are looking to get back on track and looking for any good news that they can. And luckily for them, they finally got some, getting good news and good updates from both Adou Thiero and LeBron James too, getting positive updates in their recovery, and in fact, one might be fully recovered and ready to make his debut later tonight, that being Adou Thiero. So with that in mind here, if he is ready to play and if he is able to make his debut tonight, will he get playing time? Might he actually take away playing time from a guy that's not been playing too well, that player being Vanderbilt? And then for LeBron, how will that impact the rotation as well? We're going to talk about that, the updates we got, and how their eventual return will impact the Lakers rotation. But real quick before we get too far into it, don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy, the best way to get in on the NBA action this season. And if you want to follow along with me, here's what I got going on for tonight. For my first pick, I got Luka Doncic having higher than 29.5 points following a disappointing game against the Thunder, dropping that down from 33.5 down to 29.5. Then for my second pick, I got Rui Hachimura having higher than 1.5 made 3-point shots, which he has now done in 7 straight games, so I think he will again tonight. Then for my third and final pick, I got Ryan Rollins having higher than 11.5 points, currently averaging over 16 per game. I think he will get at least 12. So if you want to follow along with me or make your own picks, then be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, and don't forget to use code JSM to get your free pick, plus up to $1,000 in bonus funds when you make a deposit. But now getting back to our topic, and talking about Adou Thiero and his potential debut tonight, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know many of you are looking forward to it as well. Talking about a Lakers team that hasn't been very athletic, hasn't been all that defensive minded at times, and doesn't have a ton of defensive playmakers, getting Adou Thiero back could definitely help them out. And no, I'm not saying that he's going to play a ton of minutes tonight, isn't going to get 15-20 minutes and be one of the top 7 guys in the rotation, but maybe tonight or possibly tomorrow night on their second night of a back-to-back, I think we very likely could see Adou Thiero out there. And in my opinion, he actually could help them out too. Like I said, they're not very athletic, whether you're talking about purely athletic ability or how they translate that into points on the court, currently being a bottom 3 team in fast break points per game. On top of that, their rim penetration has not been good, something that Adou Thiero is good at, or at least he was back in college. Again, making his NBA debut, hasn't played in the summer league, didn't play in preseason, so I imagine it will kind of be a feel-out thing for him. He might be a little bit hesitant at times and, isn't quite used to the speed of the NBA, simply the NBA atmosphere, so it might take him some time to figure it out. But simply having him on the court and having that athletic ability, that defensive-minded ability, might be able to help them out. Again, whether it's tonight or tomorrow night, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think Redick might try to utilize him too. In fact, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if he tried to utilize him over a player that currently is in the rotation, that player being Vanderbilt. And no, I'm not saying right away I don't think that Vanderbilt will go to a DNP immediately upon Adou Thiero returning, but slowly over time, and if Adou Thiero can show promise on the court, can offer them value, especially on defense, and then with literally anything on offense, as Vanderbilt has not given them much, then I wouldn't be entirely shocked of it. After all, if you kind of line them up and compare them from a height, athletic ability, skill set standpoint, I think there's a lot of reason to believe that they might have taken and drafted Adou Thiero with the future goal of kind of replacing Vanderbilt and possibly getting a better version of Vanderbilt too. No, I'm not saying they're a one-for-one comparison. Yes, Adou Thiero is pretty limited offensively and is an athletic, defensive-minded player at this point. Kind of what Vanderbilt is, defensive-minded, fairly athletic, a big wing with a similar build to Adou Thiero, albeit is not as strong and doesn't have that sturdy frame that Thiero already has, by the way. 234 pounds as a freaking rookie is pretty insane. But even apart from that, and why there might be reason to believe that Thiero might be able to overtake Vanderbilt eventually, whether that be sooner or later, not only pointing to the defense and the build with him, obviously Vanderbilt's better at this point and has shown a lot more on the court, yet again Thiero hasn't played yet, but apart from that, and the actual potential for Adou Thiero on both ends of the court is why he might be able to overtake Vanderbilt. Like I said, they're not getting much from Vanderbilt offensively, and this is coming from somebody who really likes Vanderbilt, and if he is used properly, might be able to offer something on the court and obviously a lot on defense. But with JJ Redick, he's really not been that productive. I hate to say it, but I think the one thing that Darvin Ham did better than JJ Redick, or at least the most obvious thing, was his utilization of Jared Vanderbilt, really making him that primary wreaking havoc defender, the guy to take on the toughest matchup, even at that time was a part of their starting lineup, and he found a way to make it fit. But now with Redick, Vanderbilt's kind of become a shell of his former self. Yes, you can argue that he's maybe working his way back and, is trying to get his feet under him yet, but he's really not looked that great with JJ Redick, has never looked quite comfortable, hasn't been put in the same role defensively, and he simply likes a more versatile offensive player, a guy that can do more offensively and not be a liability, kind of like what Jared Vanderbilt is for them currently. And if Adou Thiero can be that for them, then he might be able to overtake Jared Vanderbilt, and there is some reason to believe that he can do it too. Yes, again, he hasn't played in the NBA yet, so not much to evaluate with that, but going back to college and simply looking at his skill set, mainly offensively here, I think he's a much better ball handler than Jared Vanderbilt is. On top of that, he is probably better at backdoor cutting, is a bit more smooth with the ball in general, even off the ball, has a better feel for the offense and timing within when to cut or when to move and where to go on the court. I think that's a little bit better with Adou Thiero. Yes, again, throughout college, nothing in the NBA yet, but even apart from that, I think there's some potential with his three-point shot. Wasn't a great three-point shooter in college. In fact, he was a sub 30% three-point shooter, but I like his shooting form, I like the shooting motion. I think there's some potential with it, and if he can at least be a decent corner three-point shooter, something that unfortunately Vanderbilt has not been able to do. This season, shooting 25%, only a 28.6% career three-point shooter, obviously not very good, and that's something he's not been able to improve upon. So if Adou Thiero can do that, plus the off-ball cutting ability, the athletic ability and getting out in transition, plus with even some good defense and maybe not quite up to what Jared Vanderbilt is, I wouldn't expect that from him, maybe down the road, but definitely not this season. But if he can even be a positive defender while being better than Vanderbilt offensively and simply not being a liability, then that definitely is an argument to give Vanderbilt's playing time to him. I'm not saying this directly, I'm not promoting this, but if you look at it and kind of look to the future with Adou Thiero, what they're trying to develop him into, and if he can really fast track that development and be more than what Jared Vanderbilt is for them currently, then it's really not that hard to believe. Simply thinking about it how Redick might be thinking about it, from the fact that he hasn't played Vanderbilt that much, hasn't utilized him like, again, Darvin Ham kind of did, even in the past how Vanderbilt played for their team and not really using him that much and not trusting him that much, I wouldn't be entirely shocked by it. But regardless, I'm simply excited for the debut of Adou Thiero. Obviously, they wanted to get him and they traded up quite a ways to get him. Whether or not he was their primary target when they did that, they obviously are happy they got him, and this will be his opportunity to make a good first impression, both on Redick and the fanbase alike, so hopefully he will be able to take advantage of it. But then moving on to LeBron and the update we have on him. The other day we heard that he was planning to practice with their G League team. The notification seeing that LeBron has been assigned to the Lakers G League team was a pretty funny one, but it's not like he's going to play with them. He is simply participating in practice with them due to the Lakers being on a road trip and not currently in LA. And according to reports, he has in fact been practicing with them, both on Wednesday and Thursday, practicing in back-to-back days with them. According to Dave McMenamin, he felt fine after the first practice, without any lingering pain quote-unquote, therefore being able to practice back-to-back days and very likely setting him up to make his season debut when the Lakers come back from their road trip. So that's obviously good to hear with him, and here's quickly what Shams had to say regarding it.
Shams, what else do you have regarding the Lakers?
So LeBron James was assigned to the Lakers NBA G League affiliate South Bay, and he went through his first practice of this NBA season, and most critically, his first 5-on-5 action of the season as he works toward a debut from sciatica on the right side. Sources told me this afternoon that LeBron James looked great, felt great as he went through that practice. He moved well, and he didn't show signs of any issues as he's worked through this nerve issue on his right side. My understanding right now is that LeBron James is motivated and eager to get back out on the court, potentially here mid to late this month. As the Lakers move forward here, evaluating him day by day, it's going to be about how he feels tonight, how he feels tomorrow, responding to the intensity of his first 5-on-5, his first few practices. I would expect him to get more under his belt before he makes his debut, of course. But this now starts the process of LeBron James making a return and debut for his historic 23rd NBA season.
So there you have it. LeBron is back to practice and is ramping up to make his Lakers season debut, which will obviously benefit their team. And yes, it definitely will, by the way. Like I said, they're currently struggling to get to the rim, whether you're talking about the open court or the half court. Currently bottom 3 in fast break points per game, currently bottom 9 in drives to the rim per game, something that LeBron does very well, even going on year number 23 in over 2 decades in the NBA. That's something he definitely can offer their team and definitely will benefit their offense too, adding a different dynamic to their offense that they really don't have right now in my opinion. So getting that back will help them, obviously in my opinion. Simply getting LeBron back, who can benefit their offense and entire team in a bunch of different ways, will help their team out. So yes, great update here. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the update and impending return for both LeBron and Adou Thiero? And do you think the addition of Adou Thiero might be able to make Jared Vanderbilt expendable, either in the short term or the long term with their team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.